As long as humans have walked the face of this planet, they have wondered, who am I? Why am I here? Throughout the ages, people have found answers in meditation, or plant medicine, or even near-death experiences. This groundbreaking documentary series features a guided modality where a client will be induced into a state of relaxation by a facilitator and prompted to use their active imagination to access information from their subconscious mind. They may experience other lifetimes, different dimensions, or even other beings. This series acknowledges the pioneers of this modality, Dolores Cannon, who developed the quantum healing hypnosis technique, and Dr. Michael Newton, who developed life between lives hypnotherapy. Watch as real clients have real sessions with skilled practitioners. See them discover that their answers are within and experience journeys into the soul.
So you better tell me what I want to know, or I'm going to kill, like, your wife. Takes a sword out of his sheath, puts it through her neck. Actually, think I'm going to kill her. I don't know what to do.
My name is Ryan, I'm 31 years old, and I'm from Belfast in Northern Ireland. I'm pretty much a boy's boy, really into my rugby, playing sports, went to an all-boys school, all that sort of boisterous energy. Went to university in Liverpool. It was the first time I really questioned what I wanted to do in my life. I was there doing an engineering degree, and I was like, okay, if you do this degree, that means you're going to have to be an engineer. And I was like, I don't want to be an engineer. I couldn't see myself being an engineer for the next 30 years of my life. Probably the first time I really had to ask myself those bigger questions. I stopped going to classes, and there was a Royal Navy building just down the street. So I went in and I applied for the Royal Marines, and while I was still at university, my mum rang me one day, and I'd reached that point of no return, and I had to let her know that, like, I haven't been going to class the last few months. I'm actually not going to be staying at university. And my mum really pushed education when I was a kid. I was the first one in my family to go to university, so it was a very big deal. That really sort of broke her heart a bit, you know, that I was leaving this education, because in her model, to be successful in life, you needed a good education that would get you a good job, that would get you money, and you would have a good life. And that really upset her, that I was leaving that to go and run about with a gun sort of thing. So that was my first sort of like big attachment of trying to keep my parents happy, you know, what they thought I should do in life. And that was my initiation to being my own person. Yeah, went on and had a successful career in the Marines. I was there for 5 years. And again, that niggle of, is this what you want to do for the rest of your life? Again, just started to creep in. So I decided to leave. I couldn't see myself staying in there for the next 12 years plus. So yeah, then I left the military when I was about 25, and I had to move back in with my parents. And you go from being up here one day, you know, this Royal Marine Commando, this big shot type of thing, because it does feed your ego a bit when you're in that sort of environment, you know. And coming out, you feel very lost. You went up here and now you're down here. I think one of the first jobs that I did was like drive trucks. So I went from being this hotshot to I was driving a truck, and it was like torture for my ego, I guess. The Marines is a very specific skill set. There's no civilian application, if you want to call it that. You're trying to find your meaning outside of yourself in these jobs, and that wasn't working. And I was like, okay, I need to start looking inside myself for these answers instead. So I actually came across Dolores Cannon. I think it was on Instagram or something, just watching a few videos. You know, it just really piqued my interest. She was basically a hypnotherapist, and all these clients had very similar feelings that I was having. Why am I here? And there has to be more to life than this, and I feel I'm not fitting in, and maybe I should look into this, because if these people are having very similar issues that I'm having, and they're finding out all these things about themselves from past lives, and you know, where they come from, and it's making them realize why they're feeling like this in this lifetime. That was something I really wanted to look into. So she has her own website, and she has a list of practitioners across the world. I noticed there was a woman in Dublin, Triona, so I just booked a session. No expectations, had no idea what to expect, and it was mind-blowing to say the least. Now I'm back for my second session, and I think it's going to be very, very powerful, so we're looking forward to it.
My name is Triona Sheeran, level 3 QHHT practitioner. I'm based in Greystones in County Wicklow in Ireland. Quantum healing hypnosis technique is a modality to access these hidden knowledge within the mind for healing or information. I grew up feeling different. I always felt so lonely, so alone. Fast forward many years later, I always felt a draw to doing something like a doctor, but I wasn't studious enough, or maybe a nurse, and that didn't work out for me. So science always drew my mind. I love science, I love biology, I love knowing how the mind works and how the body works. I got pregnant with my beautiful boy, so I went down a completely different route. And in therapy terms, this is what I came off my path a little bit. So I went into IT, computing science. I worked in big top corporate companies all around the world. And then I met my husband. We kissed for the very first time at the local beach where I live. And when I kissed him, I thought, I'm home, this is it. That loneliness that I felt so deep within me all my life just went like that in one kiss. I was still working in the corporate world, working 90-hour weeks, and my kidneys stopped working, and I started dialysis. Tough journey, being on dialysis for 11 years. The week I got my kidney transplant, I struggled with the medication. I was in ICU for a good few days. It's a time I can't remember. I can't recall it all. I do recall the day I got out of ICU, and they said, you're going to be okay. And then I got a call from my son saying, he's dead. I said, who's dead? And he said, Barry's dead. Yeah, it was a real shock. I thought I was going to die. I grew up in Ireland, which is primarily Roman Catholic, so I always had a belief of something, but I wasn't religious, and I suppose I was searching for answers. So I was on my laptop with this lady talking about angels. I started exploring Dolores, doing the level 1 online. I came back to my level 2 as a practitioner in Dublin. I thought I had it. I thought, I got it now. I'm great. I'm the best in the world. And then my guide said, we want you to do level 3. And it was challenging because they were like, all of that you thought you were doing right, it's all wrong. Do all of this again and do it this way. You know, this is the longest job I've ever been in, 8 years. And that is because it's interesting. Every single person has within their own mind, their own ability to get the information they need. And in fact, it's better. If I'm giving you information, that's processing through my own conscious mind, and I'm going to filter it in a way I understand it. Whereas when you get that information through your own mind and QHHT, you don't need to filter it. It's coming as you understand it. Ryan contacted me about a month or two ago, and he came in for a QHHT session. And Ryan again spontaneously contacted me for this session that we're going to have. He has one very clear intention, and that is he wants to access any and all information from his memories and his past in order to use it for the present. Thank you, Ryan, for being here. And I know you've had a session previously. I know you've had 2 sessions, but 1 QHHT session, isn't that right?
Yep.
What was your main intention for that session, and what did you get after the session? And that's important because we'll be able to go deeper, a little bit deeper if we need to in today's session.
I think I just came in really open-minded because I had like a big page of questions. I think my main one was, why was I here? What my purpose was.
Did you get an answer to that question? Why am I here? What was my purpose?
Yeah. So it said that my purpose was to be a guide in this life for people, how to live their life to the fullest of their capabilities.
Perfect. That's so wonderful. And you're going to get all of that today. It's going to be so easy for you. So we're going to go through the structure of the session. I know you've had a session before, but I'm still going to go through just in case you have any questions. We're going to have a lovely interview. Now we're going to talk about your life again and what you want moving forward.
Okay.
Every session is different every time for everybody. And in my experience, people go so much deeper, even with their second session. It's really profoundly beautiful. At the end of the day, this is all about you. This is your sessions, whatever you need to have this best experience today. And it's really going to help you, Ryan, okay? So, did you enjoy school?
I was doing an engineering degree and I just could not see myself as an engineer. For me to want to leave that was a big thing. It was like going against everything that it's been like drilled into me from my mom, from school. Everyone I knew went to university. Like no one else had really broken off from that. I was waking up every day miserable. So I was like, you need to make yourself happy. You need to do whatever you need to do to make yourself happy every day. So I just wrote a list of the things that I was interested in, the things that I was good at. The military was a good fit for it. Sounds like a better success rate for happiness than what I'm currently doing. The Marines gave me so much and I wouldn't change a thing about it. It really shaped who I am as a person. It was a huge part of my life.
So if we jump ahead a little bit in time, what made you leave that? What made you leave the Marines?
I guess it was just the same, that niggling feeling that I kind of got when I was 18, 19, of like, this isn't what you're meant to be doing. There's more to life. I decided to trust it, but I was like, right, the next thing it needs to work out because you're leaving something good here for you. Again, you could be potentially messing your life up if this doesn't work out in the next thing.
Do you need to see yourself in something in order for it to feel right for you?
For me, yeah.
Yeah.
If I can't see myself doing something for any length of time, I don't see the point in doing it. I don't know why it affects me so much. I know you start to feel like you're broken a bit. You start to feel like, what is wrong with me? Because everyone else seems to be okay with like just working these jobs. And they're really happy doing like the 9-to-5 thing. And so I'm starting to think, am I broken? Is there something wrong with me? Am I destined to feel like this? Am I destined to feel like miserable?
Am I broken?
Yeah, like that sort of feeling of like, why is everyone else okay? And I'm the one who's feeling like I can never be happy. So
feeling lost, feeling different, feeling alone.
Yeah.
A lot of people feel like that for different kind of reasons. Did you get clarity or an answer around all of that in your first session? If not, it will be important to look at that today.
I didn't really get any answers to why I felt that way. I don't think so, no.
You said at the very beginning of our talk, I'm here to help myself and I'm here to help others. Tell me about how that looks like or how you're visualizing that moving into your future.
I've always had a really keen interest in holistic health. Health is not a one-dimensional thing. It's like your spiritual health, your mental well-being, your physical well-being, what you're putting in your body, what you're consuming, not just food, but content and everything. And that's kind of my path that I want to go down, to show people how to live in a holistic way, to really find their sort of like their true self. They say you find your purpose in your pain, and my pain has been trying to find my purpose. I would love to help others who feel the same as me or feel lost.
So it sounds to me like you're helping people find the answers and then put actions into the answers. Is that correct?
100%, yeah.
Thank you for sharing this journey with me. I really appreciate Ryan opening up and sharing all of this with me.
It's all good.
So let's get into your session. Let's get that computer rolling. Let's get all of those programs, all of those downloads and all the answer clarity and whatever healing you need today. Sound good?
Yeah, sounds great.
You excited?
I am. Let's do it.
Really dry. Not like sand, but like dust. Maybe sort of like hard. I'm wearing like sandals.
What else do you see or sense around you? What are you wearing on your body?
Just like a material, sort of fashioned into like a tunic almost.
What colour is this?
Like a faded type of white.
How does that feel on your body?
It's quite like rough.
It's not really looking for the story. It's just about allowing the story to unfold. It's about looking for embodying him. Does it feel male or female?
Yeah, it feels male. Sort of like in the 30s.
Mm-hmm.
Quite skinny. Like a donkey or something like me.
Just felt like a very normal guy, very skinny, very, well, not frail, but not like really strong or anything. So just very normal, very average.
Looks like there's like a sort of small town ahead. Like in a mule. Looks like a mule. Got some stuff on it that's back. A funny feeling like going to trade stuff in this town. I don't think I live in the town. I think I'm going there to like get stuff. I'm walking into the town.
Walking into that town, what happens next?
It's just very busy. It's like a lot of people about. Like an outdoor market.
I went to the market and I knew a couple of people and they sort of knew me. I was obviously a regular there.
Just asking me how I am, how's the family and stuff. And I'm like, yeah, all good. I'm giving him some stuff and then he's giving me back some stuff. I think I grow like a certain type of food or fruit or something. Mm-hmm. And I'm exchanging it for this other food.
Anything else of significance in this place, at this marketplace, you wish to explore before you move on?
No.
I want you to move to the place where you live in that life as that man wearing the sandals and the tunic. You can see and sense this very clearly. So you're now standing outside the place where you eat and sleep.
It's like a clay hut. It's kind of like a house. It's just like a wee small. There's a woman in there, I'm assuming it's my wife. It's just like some bread. It's like that fish is like in the centre of the table.
And who's joining you for the meal, or do you eat alone?
It's me, my wife, my son. Got like a little boy.
And describe the little boy. What's he look like? How do you sense him?
Really tan skin, brown eyes, like dark hair. 6 or 7. Looks pretty happy.
It was a very simple existence we lived in, this little sort of mud house. It was just beautiful. It was just like, I was so content with what we had and our little son, and she was cooking food and she just loved me and I loved her and we loved our life together, and it was so simple.
So at first I just feel or sensing, oh, what's going on? This is an ordinary story, an ordinary past life. And then all of a sudden, in come the soldiers.
There's like soldiers have like rocked up on like horses, Roman centurion type. Wearing like red cloaks with like armor on them.
What happens next?
I'm kind of telling my wife just to stay in the house. It's like not good that they're here. Like I'm quite nervous. Just asking me like how long I've lived here, like what I do. Say I grow things. And then one of them starts like kicking stuff in my garden.
What happens next?
And she wants to go in my house to see what, like almost like he's checking to see if I'm hiding something.
In come those Roman soldiers that he perceives on the horses, and you know something really bad is going to happen here in this past life. You can tell by his body, you can tell with the paws, you just know here it comes. Searching for something. What happens next?
I don't think they speak my language. I think one of them does, but the rest of them don't seem to. Because they're like talking amongst themselves and I don't seem to understand what they're saying. Just want them to leave as soon as possible because I'm starting to like get a bit scared that for my wife and my kid and stuff. because there's no way I can like defend them against these guys. They're pretty scary. I'm trying to like appease them, just trying to be nice to them and show them that I'm not doing anything wrong.
You're searching, they're here, you're feeling helpless, scared. What happens next?
Start getting really aggressive. He like flips the table over, starts screaming at me, screaming at my wife, grabs her by the hair, starts dragging her and chasing after him, like grabbing his arm, get off her. He hits me in the face, like his elbow.
These soldiers came and took her outside basically and wanted something from me that I had no idea what they were talking about. This woman's life is on the line, who's my entire being. I felt so helpless in that moment, felt so helpless. How I could save her, I just did not know.
So you better tell me what I want to know, or I'm going to kill like your wife. Takes a sword out of his sheath, puts it through her neck. I can just scream at him like I don't know what you're talking about. Someone in the market has told them that I'm the person that knows where it is or knows who it is. I actually think they're gonna kill her. I don't know what to do. My little boy's like watching, like crying. Just keep saying I'm gonna do it, I'm gonna do it. I'm like, I can't tell you stuff I don't know. The other guys are like sort of telling the other one to like come on, there's like nothing here. There's just this one guy who just seems to doesn't want to leave. Still got my wife. He's just got that look of a guy who just doesn't give a shit.
What do you sense happens next?
Cuts her throat. She's just like choking on her own blood, like all the dirt has just turned like black blood, like son's like crying in the background, screaming. I actually can't believe what the fuck's just happened there.
So that love I was talking about before, this woman is like my world, she's my life, and I just was like, how is this? I actually didn't even feel real. I was like, how has this just happened? 1 minute she's here, 1 minute she's not. Like she's just bleeding in the dirt. Like how is this just, how has my whole life been ripped apart in minutes? Like I don't understand. Yeah, and yeah.
Ryan is not a father or a husband in this lifetime. He had no conscious awareness of carrying that emotion and that guilt and that deep levels of grief. He'd never experienced that grief in this lifetime, and there you go. He'd been carrying this trauma and that emotion unconsciously from that lifetime, from that past life, all the way affecting him probably in his everyday life without even knowing about it.
Yeah, I just keep saying I'm sorry. So sorry.
Let's move away from that day. And you're drifting and floating to another important day in that life as that man.
Like a crowd of people at that market town. It's sort of like a riot or like a protest or something. Everyone's shouting and screaming at like, I think it's something to do with money, maybe like some sort of tax. I hate them so much.
You hate them?
There's not much I could do. These guys are like strong and they're trained and they've got weapons and like they don't have a hope. It's be like a suicide mission.
You want to kill them, but they have an army, they have training, and they have swords. What happens next?
Someone starts throwing rocks at him.
The rocks?
That really pisses him off. And like all these soldiers come out of nowhere. They're like shields and stuff. To be honest, I have a sense of like, I don't even care anymore. Like, it's just like, they've just done so much to me, like I fucking hate them so much, and like, life has just been so hard. They're gonna kill me today, I don't really care.
That feeling of like, oh, I hate this, you know, we can't do anything, like, you know, straight onto your stomach in the dirt, like an animal, like a dog, and they just picked up I think it was like the fighting age males, just dragged them out of there, and God knows where they went, you know, and they left like the weak and the old, so that made you feel even more worthless, and it was just horrendous.
Let's drift and float away from that day. And I want you to move to the most important day in that life you're viewing, the most important day.
like a really old man now. Got like a walking stick and like kind of hunched over.
What's your understanding of your son? Is he here with you now in this town, or is he somewhere else?
No, I think he's gone. I think he left. He just hated the place too much because of what happened to his mum and everything. I think he moved on somewhere else. My life just seems so like hard and like, what's the point?
Life had really taken its toll on me, like used me like a punch bag, and this was the end result of it. This old man who was just ruined, hated life, hated these foreign invaders, just hated what they'd done to him. Not a lot of love left in that guy's heart, and it was hard.
This theme has come up for Ryan in the interview several times about what's the point. I feel this need to unplug. What's the point?
I just feel so angry at like the world and like angry at the way my life has turned out and such a miserable existence.
I now move Ryan to the last day of his life. He's fearful of dying alone.
I'm lying in bed and my son is actually here to say goodbye, which actually means a lot. I thought I was going to die alone for a while there, to be honest. It gives me a lot of comfort. He's a lot bigger than what I was. He's quite handsome as well. Kind of good looking guy. He doesn't look as angry anymore. He's quite happy, and I think he's found what I had with his mum.
I was really ready to let go at that point, and I could feel that, and that was my final, it's like a gift of like, hey Dad, I'm gonna be okay. I've turned into this man that I was supposed to be, you know, your job is done type of thing, and it was great.
The son goes on to explain how he's not bitter, he's not angry anymore because he found happiness. And that gave Ryan so much peace and fulfillment, knowing that his son found what he couldn't seem to find in that lifetime. Do you communicate anything with each other now, before you take your last breath in that life?
I just tell him like I love him and he'll make the mistakes that I did. Don't have any regrets. Like, don't hold on to let that anger like consume you and that bitterness. Don't waste your life.
That was my sort of final parting message from that lifetime, was don't waste your time. Don't suffer and wither away.
So many people spend their entire lives after abuse or tragedy or some instant grief like Ryan, wasting their life in that lifetime. Acknowledge it, move on, allow it, accept it, whatever, but don't be stagnant, don't be in limbo. Don't waste your life. May I speak to Ryan's subconscious, please?
Yes.
So the subconscious is the part of the mind that holds all of these reasons. That's known why it brought Ryan to that lifetime and why it was so important for him to see that lifetime at this moment. Is there any similarities in that life he's just lived and his current lifetime as Ryan? Any similarities at all?
Yes, there is. Ryan really struggles with, why does life have to be so hard? Why can't it just be easy like some people have it?
How did you feel he did in that past life?
A lot of people would have taken their own life in that situation. He was actually a lot stronger than he thought he was in that life. It takes a very strong person to take that every day of their life, still walk about, still even take care of themselves. The fact that he even got up every day to take care of himself, to eat, to wash, to, that takes a lot of strength within itself.
What would you suggest he could have done differently in that life in order for him to be very well and happy?
He could have moved away with his son. He could have found another wife, trying to find love again, practice detachment, and instead of grieving and letting her go, he let that consume him. But he could have found happiness again, he could have found love again.
There was plenty of choices that I had, but I decided to stay with the grief and stay with the pain and just let it consume my life.
Acknowledge it, accept it, and move on, let it go. Because this is something we all can do sometimes, is hang on to that trauma, and it can eat us alive, it can destroy our lives.
He feels that he has a lot to offer the world, which he does, but that adds a lot of pressure. Certain people are going to be drawn to him. especially like ex-soldiers, things like that. They're going to be attracted to go to him for certain types of healing because he's a very normal guy. When he's not doing that, when he's not progressing towards that, that's where this whole what is the point comes from.
When we're actually on our path, when we're living our purpose, what we're here to actually do, our whole energy shifts and that becomes our fuel. Instead of the frustration and the why am I here, what's the point, we use that fuel, that motivation of our purpose, makes us happy because we're actually here making a difference.
What would you like to say to Ryan before we finish up?
We love you. We're proud of you. We can see, we know the things that you're going to do in this life, and we just love you.
The future is what you make it, and if I'm going at it from a negative perspective with a negative inner dialogue, that's the future that I'm going to create, and I'm going to narrow my possibilities, just like in that previous life where he only chose one path because he was engrossed with grief and negativity. Really powerful session for me, and I will carry that forward into my life.
Did it feel long? Did it feel short, Ryan?
2 hours?
So it was 2 hours and 45 minutes by my clock, approximately 2:45. I loved that he came today with this block about what's next, I'm feeling stuck again. It's a powerful reminder for all of us that we all have this innate power within us and we do matter. And the actions and thoughts that we do as individuals matter on a global collective.
So it's been 2 weeks since my session and I feel great. What I took from it was about taking action and not letting your circumstances dictate the rest of your life. I have now found a place to do my business, and that session really made it clear what I need to do. I've really noticed when you're on your path and you're doing the thing that you're supposed to do in this life, that things just flow. Things flow really easily, and everything's very cohesive. And I'm finding in flow with the universe and what I'm supposed to be doing here. So yeah, I'm really enjoying myself. So the big thing that came up in my session was don't waste your life. In my past life, circumstances happened to me in a negative way, and I let that dictate the rest of my life, and I chose not to take any action to better my circumstances. Even though your circumstances aren't what you want them to be right now, let's take some action and put yourself out there and see what happens, and that's exactly what's happened for me. So I just want to say a big thank you to Triona. I definitely had a big journey into my soul, and I'm really looking forward to this next chapter of my life.